spinach in a tomato broil. Listen.
Welcome to Kitchen Conversations. I'm so glad you're joining us today. I have with me my friend Sally Kaiser-Dyer, and Sally is a cardiology nurse, and today we're going to be talking about portion distortion. Now, I don't know if you've become aware of it or not, but I am sometimes shocked when I go out to eat with the size of the platters they bring me. It reminds me of when I was a little girl, that my mother would have served that to the entire
That's right.
table.
Family.
But now I get a platter at my Mexican restaurant. There's other restaurants I go to that the potatoes are like big enough for a family of 5. You go out to pasta and it is a
Bowl.
a huge bowl. And I've been fascinated with the size of plates,
Yes.
Sally. This is one of my antique plates that my aunt gave me many years ago.
Now this is a salad plate?
No, this is a dinner plate.
This is a dinner plate.
This is a dinner plate from probably the 40s or 50s. And it's not very big, and it's rimmed, so we would have eaten how much food?
You would have just usually filled just this inner portion.
That's right. Well, I just bought dishes for my daughter this week. She had broken some of hers and wanted some new white plates, so I went and bought these. And I am amazed. Look at the difference in the size of the plate.
And you know, Hazel, this is not even as big as I have seen some of them. I have seen dinner plates bigger than this.
Well, and some of them don't have an edge.
Yes.
And if you don't have an edge,
then you can fill it clear to the rim. Yep.
So I'm thinking about that. Then my mind kind of flashed forward to
Cups.
cups. And when you have a coffee maker, it says fill in 5 ounce. This is based on a 5 ounce cup of coffee. Well, that's what this is. And this is the mugs that came with this set.
And this is what we give out. Look at this.
To take
Say-
them,
So you could probably get how many?
at least 3 or
Yes,
4.
yes. So when I have a patient that comes in and says after heart surgery, can I have a cup of coffee?
This is what they should be
This
having.
is what they should be having, but they're mostly, and then if you go to the 7-Elevens or the, you know, those type stores, you get the big gulp, you know, the
Sodas?
huge.
Well,
Yes.
do you know that you can't even buy anything at the soda shop at a fountain that's usually less than 20 ounces? That's almost 2 cans of soda. And then if you get big gulp, you have, what, 44 or 48 ounces?
I think they even have 64. I mean, I think they have.
That's an entire 6-pack of soda.
Yes. I had a patient who was a truck driver at the Heart Institute, and he, on his truck route, was having 4 big gulps, 4 a day of Coke.
goodness,
Not
4.
Diet Coke, Coke.
So that, oh my goodness, I can't even count the sugar.
So he had a problem with his triglycerides. And triglycerides are very, very susceptible to sugar. So I asked him if he would be willing to switch from the regular Coke to just Diet Coke at first.
Just one step at a time.
I thought we'd do
Little
one
steps,
step at a time.
incremental.
Yeah. So he can have his 4, but diet. And his triglycerides went from 400 to 150 in that one thing. Just one change.
Wow, one change.
One change. Then we tried to get him down so that he was drinking equal portions of water to the diet.
Coke.
Yes, and that got him down to a more reasonable amount.
Oh my goodness, that was a lot of sugar.
Yes,
Because
a lot of sugar. Yes. So this is, and your bowl, your bowl over there.
Remember cereal bowls when you were little?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the bowl that's now in this set. And I think a portion of cereal, if I'm not right.
Here it is.
What do you have?
Here it is.
What is a portion?
This is my Cheerios, and I have to admit.
Let's put it in here.
Okay.
Open it up.
The first time I went to the cafeteria to get this, I thought, oh, this is not very much, but this is considered a serving. A serving. This is a cereal serving, so we'll put it in your little bowl, and it certainly looks stinky.
I'm feeling gypped. I'm feeling
But this
jolted.
is, you know, this is a serving. Now, you know, Cheerios are a good food for you, but it's not a high fiber food, but most people are going to fill this up to the very top.
Then, yes, and then add some other good things.
And add sugar and add milk, which if whole milk with a lot of fat, it's going to be a lot of calories.
So, but if I put a lot of fruit on here, then I might.
That would be,
better off.
and it would be giving you different types of, you know, your fruit with your cereal.
Well, it's really important, Sally, that we're eating out of the 4 food groups.
Yes.
And so let's remind Remind me, what are the 4?
There's a huge difference. Now, you were showing me earlier, let's use the little plate because we want to emphasize. At home, I have started using the salad plate for myself.
I do too.
Because I want to have the regular food. I don't want diet food.
No.
So I have made a decision that I'm going to use a smaller plate and have what I want rather than the large plate. So as you were telling me earlier, what they would like us to do, the dietitians, is cut the plate into 4 different sections.
Okay.
And then you know on what sides are we supposed to have? We're supposed to have...
From 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock are your salad or vegetables. And you can really pile that side up.
Yes.
Okay. So we put salad and vegetables on half of your plate. Then you're going to take the other half and cut it. And in one corner, you're going to put your
protein. Which can be either an animal protein or a plant protein. And then in the last quadrant, you're going to put what traditionally they say is a starch, but if you're watching your weight and you want to have a healthy diet, you want something that is a complex carbohydrate, such as brown rice or whole wheat pasta, something like that, or a baked potato. Small.
Yeah. Well, it has to only fit here. This is not a very big potato that you can get in there.
So if you were to have small portions of what you wanted, if you cut down your serving size, and if you're exercising, you probably could start losing some weight rather than have this plate and have the majority of the plate. Let's say you're having pasta and you fill the whole plate with pasta, white pasta.
Even if you only fill this much.
Yes, like that. And if you had the sauce and the cheese on top, that's a lot of calories. And then you go to bed.
Yeah, that's right, because we don't have time to eat this before night.
No, and it's a comfort food.
You know what else I learned that has been I'm working hard. It's not easy for me. I'm really working hard. But the other idea is that in order to have what's called satiety, or that idea that your body knows it has had food. I mean, food goes down to your stomach, and then it takes quite a while for that little messenger to get all the way to your brain going, I think there's food in here. I think we're getting happy. So, in the meantime, while we're waiting to get happy, it takes almost 20 minutes for that to happen. Now, Sally and you and I are both healthcare providers. We have learned to suck up food in 3 minutes flat.
Because we're in a hurry.
I can suck up food, and then you kind of get back and you're going, woo, I still need a little something.
And then you for whatever anybody's brought us as a treat, cookies,
or candy, So what I've also learned is while you're eating this plate that you've divided really well into quarters, and you've got half of it with your vegetables or salad, quarter of it with your protein, which you see that be the right size, deck of card size, and your
palm of your hand,
small piece of complex carb. Now you should sit there and take 10 minutes to eat the first fourth of your food. Oh, that's going to be difficult for me.
Now, if you do this particularly in the evening when you're not at work and you're not rushed, this is where it's really important, because what a lot of people do is they come home, you're stressed, you're tired, you turn on the TV and you pile it on, zone away. Yes. So it's really important, because a lot of times during the day you're in a hurry, and if you are eating foods during the day, like vegetables, or cut up vegetable, carrots and celeries and mixed nuts, unsalted, things like that you can eat in a hurry, and then when you're coming home and having this meal, that's the time to slow it down.
And that's the time to put joy in your food.
Yes, and put joy in it and enjoy it.
If you have a joyful time, you have a nice setting, and you're going to eat a fourth of this in 10 minutes, then you eat the next fourth of this in 5 minutes. Now we've been sitting at this dinner for 15 minutes, and you eat your last fourth of this, the third fourth of this, in the next 5 minutes. Now we've been sitting here 20 minutes, and we still should have a fourth of our food left.
Yes.
This is time to get the little guy up to your brain going, we're happy, we're happy. And you don't even have to finish it if you don't want to. Oh, that's so novel.
Now, I have another suggestion.
Okay.
I exercise, and I exercise in the morning, usually. And I run, or I go to the gym. And when I come back, I'm really hungry.
I'm sure you are.
Really hungry.
Breakfast is the most important.
Yes, but I'm usually not hungry for things that are good for me. So especially on the weekend when it's tempting to go out to eat. So what I do to help myself is I have a source of protein. I use this particular type. It's a liquid protein. It has 30 grams of protein, but only 5 carbs and 1 sugar.
Okay.
And while I'm getting ready,
does it taste okay?
It tastes like chocolate pudding.
It's very good.
Pudding. So I drink, and it can be any protein, any type of protein. So I drink this, and I have my water, and this helps me put a handle on how much I eat when I do have my meal.
Right.
Because otherwise, when I don't have this, I'm so hungry that I can't slow down.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Well, I have been told that if you don't get your breakfast protein, day started with breakfast protein,
yes,
that you will hit what's called the witching hour at 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
Right.
And I am guilty. Sometimes I don't get time for breakfast, and you just maybe grab a banana or an apple, which means you didn't get the protein. It was still okay. It was better than eating a Danish. But you go to work and you make it through the day, and I get to 4 o'clock, and suddenly I will eat anything.
Yeah.
There can be
and you don't want to have that happen.
Awful
That's
cookies
right.
full of
anything. Just give it to me. I'm
candy.
Hungry.
Yeah.
I want it. So the key, and that's why years ago the Atkins diet was so popular, is because it's a high protein. So the key now we've learned is that you want to have protein. It can be plant protein, it can be animal protein. You don't want the fat.
Right.
You don't want the fat, you just want the pure protein. And then when you do have your, quote, starches, you want them to be complex carbohydrates, the brown rice, vegetables, fruits, not the juice, but the fruit where you've chewed it, and you get all those fiber. You see, when you eat the complex carbohydrates, your body has to break it down.
Has to work.
Yes, so you're burning energy. So when you eat brown rice, you have to use energy to break it down. When you eat white rice, you don't have to do anything, and it just turns to sugar.
Sugar. Well, you just mentioned something really fascinating to me that I wanted to talk about too, and that's this portion distortion of juice.
Yes.
When I was a little girl, and I couldn't even find a glass this little, my mother's juice glass was, I don't know how big around that is, 2 inches?
Yes.
And the little glass is about this tall.
Yes, probably about 4 inches.
So you're probably at about 3 ounces, maybe 3 to 4 ounces of juice. And now, when you go out to breakfast, and would you like the regular glass or the large glass? And the large glass is virtually this tall.
That's right.
Cold and frosty with orange juice, and you go, well, what's better for me than a lot of orange juice? Do you know how many oranges are squeezed in that orange juice? I would bet, what, 4 or 5?
Yeah.
And nobody would ever sit down, or it's a rare person who'd ever sit down and just consume 4 or 5 oranges at a time. So you're getting way more product than your body would have done if it actually ate the real thing.
If you have enough self-control, and this is hard, but when you go, you can always not have the potatoes, and you could have fruit. And usually at most nice restaurants, they will bring you like oranges or apples or strawberries or something. Then instead of having the potato just turn to fat on you, if you're eating the fruit, it's something that's good for you, and you're burning up energy while you're eating it.
Well, the other thing we were talking about a little bit before we just went on the air that I've really gotten to do a lot, and that is I split my plate with my husband.
Yeah, I do too. In the restaurant, yes.
Because they are bringing such big portions, and I know some restaurants charge extra, but that's okay. It's about enjoying it, and whenever I get the whole meal and it comes on this plate and I eat the whole thing, I don't feel good when I leave. You just kind of leave groany and tired, and when we have split, it just seems the right amount of everything.
And I saw years ago a dietitian take a plate, and she had a Caesar salad on it, and I think there was some bread, some garlic bread, and she had the calorie and fat content. Then she had a plate where it had a very small steak, a baked potato, and a serving of vegetable, but she cut it in half, and she was sharing it with another person, and it ended up that the steak potato salad had less calories and fat than the Caesar salad plate did, even though most people would think that the salad by itself would be less calories and fat.
That brings another thought to my mind that I have learned to do in trying to deal with this issue of getting too much food, and that is I almost always get my salad with the dressing on the side.
Yes.
Because you have no control how much gets tossed in there, and although it tastes yummy, you're getting a lot of extra fats, a lot of extra sugars, and then I just dip my fork into the
I do the same thing.
dressing and then eat a few pieces, and I still feel like I have that. I still feel like I've not been in denial because, I'm into the joy of life, and I want to have the joy of food, not suffer.
And if, it's a personal preference, but if you can possibly have the vinaigrettes, and they make a lot of good ones, you're having something that's heart healthy, because anytime you have a vinaigrette, it's not an animal. See, so the dressings that are the animal, like the blue cheese and these Thousand Island, those are the ones that are not good for you. But the vinaigrettes, although they have the calories, they're not from an animal, so it's a lot healthier for you. Yes, yes.
Well, we talked, what is the worst and the best I can eat? We kind of are talking about best practice here, but what's some of the worst stuff I can do?
As far as a meal, or if it... Well, what you hit on, we're not talking about food specifically, but you hit on something very important. The worst thing that a person can do is to go all day without eating. That is the #1 worst thing that they can do. So a lot of people don't like breakfast, they don't like lunch. So again, I say you don't have to eat a meal, but have a protein. So if you have a serving of protein in the morning and at lunch, at least your body won't go into a starvation mode, and then you'll overeat.
Okay.
So the best foods for you to eat are the foods that nobody has touched. Now it's hard because they're not comfort foods. So when I say not touched, that's your vegetables, your salads, your fruit like an apple, an orange, not the juices, but the actual fruit. Beans are really, really good for you.
We're talking string or little round guys?
Even any kind. Pinto beans, black beans, lima beans, any beans, they're one of the best things that you can have. And even refried beans if you don't use lard or bacon drippings. So, and then your whole wheat breads, your high fiber cereals, and then if you can find a whole wheat pasta that you like, that's very good for you.
Let's talk a little bit about fiber.
Okay,
How do I find enough fiber? I'm glad you brought that word up, because how do I find enough fiber?
I have a sheet that you're going to put on your website, but if you go online, you can find the fiber content. Basically, if nobody has touched it and you are chewing it, that is the best, healthiest fiber of all the things that I was just talking about. So when you have a salad and you put garbanzo beans on it and you put cucumbers and things like that, and you're chewing the foods, that's very, very good. Very, very, a lot of fiber. But you can.
I like how you say that. Nobody's touched it. I have another friend who says it this way. I eat nothing with a face or something that came from a mother. And that's kind of the same thing.
It's the same
vegetables
thing.
don't have faces. And
you want to actually chew your food. And that gives you more enjoyment too, once you get used to doing that. But our society is eating refined packaged foods, and it's really bad. And we have a lot of cancer, we have a lot of heart disease, and we have a lot of diabetes, obesity, and it's because we're eating these quick foods.
Well, somebody told me one time that if you would just do most of your shopping going the outside of the grocery store, you would do your best. Now, I know you're going to go past the bread aisle, but pick the good bread, and then you're going to go past the cold cut aisle, but just walk really, really fast. And then you're going to get to your cheese and milk and dairy aisle, and then your meat aisle, and then your veggies and your fruits. And it's when you go up and down the aisles that you get into trouble. Because then everything's done quickly, and it's usually pretty refined. And
you and I both know that we're all busy. We're all busy, and it's really, when we're talking about the ideal, but you can eat an apple, you can eat an orange. I mean, there are some things you can do.
They're easy food.
And they're easy foods. And if you have that first before you have the bad food, at least you've eaten something good.
Well, and it might slow you down a little. Let's talk a little bit about label reading, because I think, I know we're having to put everything on labels. You know, really, I kind of don't like going to restaurants where they're now putting on fat content, because I get guilty right there. I'm going out to eat and I don't want to feel guilty.
But it does deter some people.
It does help me too. So tell me a little bit about reading labels.
What I wanted to, there were certain specific items that I wanted to cover. Let me go back to our Cheerios.
Our bowl here.
Our bowl. On the label, and I'm sure that you cannot see this, but what gets people very confused is Cheerios, they love to say it doesn't have any cholesterol.
Never did, never will. There's no piece of animal in there.
That's right. You only find cholesterol in animal foods, and obviously this is not an animal
It comes
food.
from wheat or oats.
So I have a real burden. Yes, I have a real burden. Now, Cheerios are not very high in fiber. They're good for you. Everything they say is good for you. But when you have Raisin Bran and you have oatmeal, that is more of a texture, takes more energy to break it down. There's nothing wrong with this. It's just that that's the difference between Cheerios and some of the others. Now it has a little bit of protein.
Oh, dietary fiber, two. And we should be going for 3.
At least. There's some like All Bran that are really heavy duty that you really got to eat.
Yeah.
And oatmeal is very good
when
for you.
When you chew good, then there's something good going on.
Okay, so this is my theme about cholesterol, is that don't be fooled when something doesn't say. Now, let's take peanut butter. Is peanut butter going to have cholesterol in it?
No, no animals.
No. Now, peanut butter has a lot of fat in it, but where is the fat coming from?
Peanuts, peanut oil.
Peanut, yes. And it has saturated fat, but it's from the nut. It's not from an animal. So peanut butter, although it is fattening, and you have to be careful, it's a very good food for you. But not the ones, and I won't name any brands, not the commercial ones because of the sugar. They put sugar in it. You want to get a peanut butter that has somewhere on it where it's just the natural. They ground the nuts up. They put it in the.
You know how you can tell which ones they are? Shake your jar. Because the oil's on top, and usually when I go home, I have to set it upside down and let it percolate up through so that it gets loose. And you have to mix them. That's how you know the difference. If they're already all
whipped together, they put sugar in it.
Yeah, there's sugar in it.
Yeah. So when you're buying your peanut butter, make sure you get a peanut butter that is right from the nut, that is not have sugar added to it. Now, I brought these two because, not to advertise this particular, but they were available to me, so that's why I picked it up. When you have a can of regular soda, it doesn't matter what it is.
A pop.
Yes. If you look on the back, it's going to have a certain amount of carbohydrates and sugar, and in this case it's 41 grams. Most of these cans of soda, and I'm not a dietitian, but they have about 10 teaspoons of sugar.
Yeah, they're 9 or 10.
Yeah. When you have the diet, it has nothing. No sugar.
No sugar.
No sugar. So if you were to take your bowl, well, let's take your cup. If you were to take your cup and you were to take a teaspoon and you were to put 10 teaspoons of sugar in this cup.
You know that it would be half full.
That's how much. And most people don't have 1 can. Some people have a 6-pack every day.
Well, especially if they get those big gulps.
Yes. So that's how much sugar they are having in their diet.
And we're supposed to have about how much in a day?
Well, not the least amount of refined sugar is you get.
Probably about 10 teaspoons, I think, is about kind of an average of what you should have.
Yeah, at the most. At the most.
So
yeah.
If you drink it in one then you're done for the day. Whoa.
Yes. So this is refined sugar. Now, I brought this along because this is a good filler when you have to skip a meal.
Okay, just juice. It's a thick juice.
This has, if you drink the whole thing, it has 30 grams of protein. The whole thing. This is 2 servings.
I was going to say, I bet you this is more than 1 serving.
But it is. Just when you have protein, it really, really helps. So if you're desperate, you're in a hurry, and you can't linger over your meal, the protein drinks are good. I brought this along to emphasize that you've got to be careful about sodium. Yes. So here is, this is 12 ounces of V8 juice.
And so what is our fibers there? We have 3 fibers. We're doing good.
Yes. It has
12 sugars.
Yeah, that's not too bad. And of course, it doesn't have any cholesterol because...
And there's no animals in there.
But it's got sodium. It has 630 milligrams of sodium. Do you know how much, Hazel, we're supposed to have? Now, on a sodium-restricted diet, it's 2,000 milligrams, which is about a teaspoon of sodium. So this is, now this is not over the limit, but this is one item.
Right.
And then we're talking about
an entire day.
Yes.
So that is about a third of your entire day.
So if you want to use your sodium that way, that's fine, but most people don't. So you just got to be careful. The soups, soy sauce, of course, they're loaded with sodium, so you just have to be very careful.
Salt hides so many places.
Yes.
It's very difficult.
Yes. So in reading food labels, remember the food industry is trying to trick you.
Yes,
This is not a friendly. Remember that when you're looking at serving sizes, like in this item, and you caught this, I'm very impressed, this was 2 serving.
2 servings. And
So,
I always drink my whole bottle, don't you?
I do too, because I use it as a meal replacement. Now, I think in some of the newer labels, they have both side by side, and that helps make you remember that you're drinking, you have to double the amount of how much it is. So just thinking about what you're going to have every day, if you think about it ahead of time and you don't allow yourself to get too hungry, that makes a big difference. If you're just so busy, so stressed, most people are not going to have healthy things. They're not going to have fruits and vegetables.
And you don't have the fortitude. You don't have that courage. I mean, I see the potato chips, and then you get this salt and fat craving, and you get all these cravings, and you're out of control, and you're not doing well.
And if you're, if you're really stressed, most people either want to crunch, or they want the soft food, the ice cream foods.
Oh yes.
And what you really need, the more stressed you are, the #1 food you need are the B vitamins that are in the salads and the vegetables. But we don't do that when we're upset.
No, I'm just going to remind us that when we get our plate, we're going to go through line at a buffet. Let's take a nice plain.
Well, we're not going to buffets.
Oh, we're not going to go to buffets.
But if you do.
Holidays come.
Holidays come.
Let's try to do all the things we like, but let's fit it on one plate. Another thing I just want to remind us and kind of think about is cholesterol comes from animals. So if it didn't come from an animal, it doesn't have cholesterol. But that doesn't mean it's good, because fats are really part of the biggest problem, and we should be trying to get the bulk of the fats that we use from plant-based foods.
Excellent.
Like peanut butter, nuts, avocados, olives, olive oil, all are excellent. And you'll have heard of that all in those Mediterranean diets. That's what makes them so good. It's not an animal fat, but it's a plant-based fat. We talked about getting great protein every day. Good sources of protein, and the protein can come in the form of a shake. It can come from vegetables as well as from lean meats. We talked about watching our salt intake. Very, very important. And if you're taking an antioxidant, make sure you're getting it from your fruits and vegetables versus just a pill. Whole grains are great, legumes, teas, all of those add to your antioxidants. So just choose wisely. Pick fresh, fresh is best. Vegetables, fruits, you will always win with those. So until we meet here in the kitchen again, I just want you to kind of watch what you're eating. Make gentle, tiny changes. And in the meantime, you just stay well. Be happy and enjoy the food of a great meal.